G'day everyone, welcome to another edition of Chris Rankin's Music Crush. Just going to do a video of things I've been listening to. Had a pretty decent menu today of things. A little bit of metal, mostly metal, a little bit of jazz and some funk today. So just thought I'd share and show what I'm listening. Maybe you've seen them and heard of them, maybe you haven't, and if you have, you can pull them off the rack if you've got them. Got some shout outs to some channels too I really want to let you all know about today. First of all, Mega Jeff's Rock Hard Vinyl, great channel. Really good guy, Jeff. I like his taste in music, a lot of metal and that sort of stuff. Jeff Witch's Vinyl Destination. Good channel, really good guy, quite a funny, interesting fellow. Of course, my very good friend Ron Haggerty at Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Sanctuary. A big fan of his channel, and he's a really nice chap, and I've become pretty good friends with him. You got Chris Propfee, Musically Obsessed, great guy. Him and Ron putting videos up all the time, so there's always plenty of content to look at and watch. Really good channels. You've got Aaron Mutha Alamere, who is just wow, he's got such a good metal collection, and of course that's always going to pull some pretty big heartstrings with me, that's for sure. So I've had some very good discussions with him as well. So yeah, Aaron Mutha Alamere. You've also got Craig at A to Z Music Haven. Really great guy. He's got a good collection and starts off some very good threads. I commented on his thread just earlier before I made this video about some of my most memorable concerts that I've been to, and he's a good guy. So check out him, A to Z Music Haven. We've also got JC, the Flipside Vinyl. That's right, yeah, JC, the Flipside Vinyl Community. I just want to make sure I get these channels right. I know them well, but I want to make sure I get the name of them right so that you know what to look for. But I will put the link to the channels in the description, just so you can check them out. I regularly do that whenever I mention another channel. JC, the Flipside Vinyl Community. Shows lots of great stuff, shows some good new releases and upcoming records. You've also got Thomas. I really like Thomas a lot. Thomas at Merciful Metal. Has some great discussion, has a great collection, shows some really good records. You've also got Mika, Dr. October. Really cool guy, really interesting, funny guy. Shows things that I don't really know much of, and I like that. That's really cool. Christian Osorio. Really good channel. I like Christian's channel. Good guy. Shows cassettes too. Cool dude, and he always enters in everyone's everyone's contests and threads as well, so that's really nice. Of course, my dude Aaron the Metal Theologian, probably my favourite channel on all of YouTube. I've talked about his channel quite a few times. Just the king of underground metal, if you ask me. Just absolutely fantastic. His channel and his delivery and his humour, and he's just fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Another one I like is Mike Seatown, really good guy. I like him because he shows, obviously he's got his main hip hop channel, but he also shows a lot of extreme metal as well. Some really good underground black metal and death metal as well, a fair bit of punk and hardcore. Really cool guy, and really expresses what he thinks about albums and records really well. I like his delivery, and really concentrates on lyrics too, which is quite different. And then another one of my all-time absolute favourite channels that I've been watching probably the longest is Sea of Tranquility, and Pete Pardo and Sea of Tranquility, and he has just videos all the time. And on a Tuesday morning my time, but a Monday evening in North America time, he has a part of the show called the Hudson Valley Squares, where he has a whole lot of guests and the normal regulars, where they talk about all sorts of music, usually a different topic each week. So I'll put a link all the links to all the channels in the descriptions. I just wanted to start off the video with this because they're channels that I watch and enjoy, and I think it's important that I share these channels and let you all know how good they are and to check them out. But anyway, let's get on to what I've been listening to. It's a decent list, but I'll get through it, and yeah, hopefully there's some things that you like the look of and you'll check out, and maybe as I say, maybe you'll already know. So the first one, I've been listening to quite a bit of this again lately, Detritus, from Bristol, England, thrash metal band, absolutely brilliant thrash. It can take a little bit to get into. It's not the sort of thrash that will hook you in instantly, but it's really good. Like the second and third time through the album, it's a fantastic album. Now this is a reissue I got on Retroactive Records, 2019 reissue. The album itself is 1990. Now, one of the main reasons I got this out to listen and to show is because they are releasing a brand new album tomorrow. Well, tomorrow my time. So what's that? 18th of February. 18th of February, 19th of February is tomorrow. But anyway, Friday. How about that? And it's their first studio full-length album in 28 years called Myths. And that album is out tomorrow. So if you see it anywhere, order it for yourself. Hopefully it's a really, really good one. But this is a great album. Point of No Return, Playing with Fire, Taste the Blood, No Mercy, Derange. So many good songs on here. Yeah, really, really interesting sound and quite underrated, I think. So Detritus, thrash. Speaking of thrash, although these guys were sort of early on more death metal, more sort of the death metal, thrash metal, and then they became real purveyors of technical thrash metal, so like Cyclone Temple, Toxic, Voivod, you know, bands like that. And I'm talking about Sadus. Now this is their third album, I'm pretty sure. There was the first album, which was Illusions, and it had another title called Chemical Exposure, from memory. I really, really want that album very much. Sometimes the title was called Illusions, and other times it was called, I'm pretty sure it was called Chemical Exposure. But this is their third album. This, of course, has got the wonderful Steve DiGiorgio on here that you all might know from Testament and Death. It also has John Allen on here, who was the drummer for a little while in Testament. Such a great album. You've got Machines, you've got Through the Eyes of Greed, Echoes of Forever, Facelift. It's heavy at times, so it gets kind of technical death metal at times. Then it goes more thrash. There's really good riffs all through the album, and Sadus have 5 albums overall, maybe 6. A great band, Sadus. Next, certainly one of my favourite death metal bands of all time, Suffocation. Just fantastic. This is their album Souls to Deny. This is their, what was this? Well, that's the reissue date there, 2018. This was their 2004 album, if I'm correct. Yeah, 2004. There's a bit of glare on there. Sorry. Yeah, 2004. Now, I was very lucky. I got the chance to meet Suffocation in 2016 and hang out with them for about 48 hours. That's at the time I met Onslaught as well, and a few others, Internal Bleeding and Drowning Pool. So I got to hang out with Terence Hobbs, Derek Boyer, Kevin Talley as well was in the band at the time. And just, yeah, such funny, cool guys with that really dry New York humour. They're from Long Island, New York. Just one of the best catalogues of all time of metal. This was their, I want to say, fourth album. I'm pretty sure I'm getting that right. Maybe I'm missing one in the middle there. The fourth album, Souls to Deny. Souls to Deny, great opening track. Starts off with these just terrifying screams. Demise of the Clone, and the final song on here, Tomes of Acrimony. It's probably my favourite song on here. Super heavy, great riffs, really quite catchy. Just these guys just really are one of the best brutal death metal bands of all time, and this album is just absolutely fantastic. What we got? I'll show you go out the label there. Bit of a special label. So Suffocation, Souls to Deny, absolutely fantastic album. Fantastic. So I promised a little bit of jazz, and I have. I've been listening to a bit of jazz. I normally listen to jazz at the end if I've been listening to music all day and I've had a bit of a mix. If I've been getting through the brutal stuff and loving that, then I like to sort of calm down near the end. So I normally wait till, if I'm having a late night and I don't need to get up early, then I'll finish up with some jazz. And this guy is probably my favourite jazz artist of all time, I think, Charles Mingus. Yeah, pretty close. Sun Ra, he's starting to catch up a fair bit, but I need to get more of Sun Ra and more into it. But I think Charles Mingus is probably my favourite all up, and I just love this album absolutely all the way through. Just such a beautiful, wonderful jazz album, smooth, but enough in there to keep you hooked in as well. Now, what year was this? This is a 2013 reissue, 180 gram. 1959, 1960. I'm not an expert on jazz, so I do listen to it and I love it, but there's still parts of it that I'm learning and getting to know discographies and things like that. So I think this was 1960, but I might be wrong. Probably my second favourite Charles Mingus album so far. Blues and Roots is a very high grail for me of his, but this is probably the second favourite of his albums that I own so far. So just a fantastic jazz album, love it to bits. I will show you the record. Oh, this is a gatefold. Yeah, that's right. So gatefold. There we go. All the stuff inside. Really nice when you've got a nice jazz record and then you get all the things to read. A little bit of bio on Dole. It's on the Dole label. I think originally this was on Impulse, but this is a reissue. 180 gram. So good. Really, really good. Then next, more jazz. Bit of Miles Davis, Sketches of Spain. Fantastic album. 1960 as well, I think. Yeah, 1960. I'm pretty sure this was 1960. This is a 2015 reissue. It's on Columbia. Yeah, probably pretty close to my favourite Miles Davis record, or Silent Way, maybe my favourite overall. But this is just fantastic. There's just all the way through. You just put this on and let it rip, and it's highly enjoyable all the way through. Just a fantastic album. Now that I think of it, I think that Charles Mingus album was a little bit later than that. May have even been like 62 or 63, but as I say, I'm no expert on jazz just yet. Probably been listening to jazz for about 8 or 9 years. My dad was in a swing band, a rock and roll swing band. So when I was very little, he did introduce me to jazz and swing and all that, which is where I got my love of blues and then prog rock and all that early on. And then I really fell away from it for a very long time. And then I started, I reckon about 7 or 8 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, I just started giving it another try and went, whoa, this is pretty good. And I've just been slowly, and now when I go into a record shop, especially if I'm going to look for new stuff, I'll very much go to the jazz section just as much as I'll go to the metal section. Because the other thing is, with the metal section, I know all these metal bands, I know everything, I know what I need, I know what to look for, it's instant. Whereas with the jazz, it's a little bit like, it's still quite fresh, and it's still quite, you're still learning and wondering what's down that, what's behind that corner sort of thing, which is what jazz feels like to me. So I've got enough of it to know what I like, and a bit of history with it, but yeah, I'm still learning it. So now, I promised a funk album. Been listening to this absolute classic. I don't know whether you call Funkadelic Maggot Brain funk. I guess it pretty much is, which is, if it is, then that's probably my favourite funk album of all time, I'd say. But this would be my second favourite. Simandi, the album Simandi. So many great songs on here. You've got one more, Getting It Back. Getting It Back's probably the most catchiest sort of, rocking's a stupid term, but you know what I mean. Getting Back is the song that sort of, gets going the most. You've also got Rickshaw, which has got the flute in there. You've got Listen, which is, almost sounds like a bit of a Marvin Gaye type song. The Message, and you've also got Bra, which is a bit of a weird one. And of course, Dove. Dove was sort of, I don't know if it was a single or not. This came out in 1972, by the way. I think Dove was a single, but don't quote me on that. But that's the sort of long masterpiece with just a beautiful big hook in the guitar. I love this album. There's a couple of songs. Zion I, the opening track's a bit, I find it a little bit corny. But everything else, just love this. Just the most wonderful chilling out album. But not chilling out so much that it just meanders and falls into the background. There's still lots of hooks. There's some good catchy choruses, and love this album. Great funk album from 1972. Right, so I've also, I've been listening to some singles again lately. I pulled out some of my singles, and I've got this one. This is a split EP. We got Condor on the one side, and you got Toxic Death on the other side. Toxic Death came out with an album last year. It really surprised me. Sepulchral Demons, I think it was called, which was pretty good. It was okay. And Condor did too, actually. No, not last year. Condor came out with an album 2017. I can't remember the name of it, but it was red, and it had these sort of weird, like skull demon-looking creatures impaled on a stake type thing. Something empowered, something, I can't remember. Anyway, I'll take up too much time if I try and remember. But that came out in 2017. But this is a single. This is 2014, and this is a split. They're both Norway bands. They're both kind of thrash. Condor's probably a little bit faster and heavier than Toxic Death. Toxic Death, I certainly wouldn't call them punk, but the vocals sometimes have a little bit of that punk sound to it, and you can hear it's thrash that came from punk, I guess. But they're both pretty heavy and aggressive as well. Almost getting a little bit of that early black thrash sound. So let me just show. So you've got Condor on one side, and then on the other you've got Toxic Death, which is on the Toxic Death on that great Dying Victims label, which, damn, they make some really good stuff, Dying Victims. I've been looking to get quite a bit of stuff from them lately. So yeah, fantastic. More singles. Band from Australia, from Hobart, Tasmania, the capital of the island state of Australia, Tasmania. This is the band called The Wizard. Now, so this is a single. They came out since with 4 full-length albums. Doom metal, traditional doom metal. Fantastic band. Really starting to get on the map worldwide with the last few full-length albums. Really making a pretty big impact. But this is their single called Smouldering Sinners. I'll show you the... There we go. The Wizard. And once again, there's the fantastic cover. Look at that. I mean, that's just instant for me. You see something like that, I'm already halfway home with it. And, you know, I'll take a chance. Even though I did know this band when I got this. This was 2007. 2007 this is. And even though I did kind of know this, you know, I see an album cover like that, and as I say, it's already halfway out the door before I need to know what else. This is Acid. I got this when I got the Acid reissues, the full lengths, the self-titled and the Maniac album. So High Roller did those fantastic reissues last year of those two, and I can't remember which one I got this with. It was either with the self-titled album or the Maniac, but I got this, and there was another one I'll show another day that I got as well, another single that I got, but there we go. Love this bit on the back there. What does it say? Please play as hard as possible. Yeah, so there you go. You have to, there's no excuse. Of course, you got the wonderful Kate on vocals. Belgium speed metal, quite savage speed metal, you know, early, what was this, 1981, 1982. That's on a clear 45, High Roller. I mean, what do we need to say about High Roller? I mean, really, just everything. You know, you almost want to just give High Roller a blank check and say, right, just send me out whatever you think's good, because you know it will be good. Next up, from Finland, we have Samohan, I think you can pronounce it. Kind of a weird band that I don't really know much about. All I do know is that they started in the late 90s, and then they're one of those bands that were just around forever, and all they were just kept releasing was demo and demo and demo and demo, and then finally, I think 2010 they released this, which was like it's called an EP, but I mean really it's got 2 songs on it, so it's realistically a single. It's heavy metal. I would class it as heavy metal, but he does growl at times. There we go. Yeah, that's the thing. He does growl at times, and also, so it's traditional heavy metal, but he does growl a little bit. He's got quite a gruff voice. You can see it was limited to 500, and my number is 306, I think it is. So this is on Iron, the fantastic Iron Bonehead, another great label. Gee, I'm showing all the really, really good labels tonight, so yeah. And of course, this beauty. This is a very treasured piece in my collection. This is a French original pressing of Iron Maiden, Twilight Zone Wrathchild, which of course this was the lead single that came for Killers. Well, it was not the lead single, but you know what I mean. It was the single for the album Killers. Of course, Twilight Zone didn't end up appearing on the album Killers, but Wrathchild did. There's the back. It's a little bit worn, but it's, you know, this is a French original pressing, 1981. Plays beautifully. Plays absolutely beautiful. Got the big hole there as well. Fantastic. And as you can see, Derek Riggs hadn't quite got his penmanship quite sorted yet, and not one of his greatest days for artwork. Of course, those who don't know me well, Killers is a very special album in my heart because it was the first metal album I bought. I got my sister to buy it for me not long after it came out in 1981. I asked my sister to buy it and she bought it on cassette for me. So that was my first full-length metal album that I bought that wasn't a gift or something. I bought compilations before and I've shown them already, but yeah, Killers was the one that started it all as far as my collection goes, and it was the first thing I heard of Maiden, and fell in love, and they've been my favourite band ever since. So yeah, Iron Maiden, Twilight Zone. Right, back to full lengths. I don't think I really need to talk much about this album. This would have to be one of the greatest metal albums of all time. It's as simple as that. Absolutely simple as that. 1995, Dissection, Storm of the Lights, Bane. There really isn't too much that you need to say about this. Let's just say it's perfect. Sad John Notveit, I think that's how you say his name. Sadly, no longer with us, so rest in peace. And one of them, the real guys behind this. The first two albums of Dissection are just the perfect combination of melodic black metal and melodic death metal. If you only need to hear one song of this to convince you, Where Dead Angels Lie is a masterpiece, just like the whole album. I don't need to talk much about this album. It is absolute perfection. Dissection, Storm of the Lights, Bane. What do we got? Back to some records. Now I do always like to show at least one Australian band, and I've already shown The Wizard, but this is a band from Perth I've shown quite a few times before. This is their debut album, Master Plan. Fantastic power metal. Really, really good power metal. The main guy behind the band I worked with for quite a long time, and pretty good mates, really good mates. Cam Nicholas, the lead guitarist in this band, is without a doubt, and I've seen a very large amount of guitarists live, he is without a doubt one of the best live guitarists I've ever seen. He is lightning fast, absolutely incredible guitarist. If you want to have a look, check out a couple of their clips on YouTube, Silent Night. Just fantastic. So this is their debut, Master Plan. And this is another good one. This is if you can see it, number 27 of 100. I'm pretty happy to have this. And I will show this because it's got a custom label. Got the Raven's Eye. I don't know if you can see that in the glare. There we go. You can see the raven and the red eye of the raven. So nice custom label there. So Silent Night, Master Plan, outstanding power metal. Very much, in the if you think of like bands like Halloween, Gamma Ray, they get a little bit heavier sometimes. Halloween, Gamma Ray, I can't think of any. Blind Guardian, definitely another strong influence. So yeah, Silent Night, Master Plan, absolutely fantastic. Now, let's go for some German thrash death, 1988. What an era, that era for me. 1987 to sort of 1994. It's funny, people always talk about metal dying and not being great sort of after 1991. And yeah, I can see the mainstream part of metal was that. But for me, that period, 91 to 94, some of the best bands of all time were firing up, and you had this explosion of all the different genres of metal and prog metal and death metal and black metal and doom and just all sorts of amazing stuff. So I do really love that period. But I'm listening to some Protector again. I've got quite a few Protector albums. This is their debut, their first album, Golem. Brilliant album. 1988, this album. High Roller reissue. What more can you say about High Roller? just brilliant. Just everything about this. I mean, the song Germanophobe, just so good. Protector of Death, so good. And I've got a yeah, it is. That's right. I'm pretty sure it was. There we go. A nice white disc. So good. Protector. If you don't know Protector, you need to check them out. One of the most underrated metal bands of all time. Just absolutely love them. They're still going now, still releasing albums. They released a new album about 2 years ago. Can't remember the name of it. Red cover, once again. I can't quite remember the name of it. But yeah, great band. Very high on my bucket list to see this band live. They've never been to Australia, so I don't know. We'll keep hoping. Maybe one day. Now, I'd also like to always show a band from Indonesia if I can. This is the band Dead Squad and their album Pro Fanatic. Fantastic album. Brutal technical death metal, this is. I've seen these guys quite a few times live, and they deliver just as good as they sound on the CD. Absolutely love this band. This is their second album. I always get the two mixed up. Great artwork. Absolutely love the artwork. I think it's, yeah, and it's on the disc as well. You see there, just really good artwork. I've got a t-shirt with that exact same artwork on. They're from Jakarta in Indonesia, the capital. This was a 2013 album. Really, really, really good. And to finish up, Mega Jeff at Mega Jeff's Rock Hard Vinyl. I wanted to show this one for you. You've got that disc always hanging behind you there on your wall in your videos, so I thought I'd show the CD. Dismember like an ever-flowing stream. This is Swedish death metal royalty, this album. Override of the Overture. If you only want to ever hear one Swedish death metal song to convince, listen to Override of the Overture, the opening track on here. It is one of the best ever. It's one of the best metal songs of all time. This is their debut. This came out 91. Yeah, 91. Fantastic album. Amazing that you can come out with a debut this damn good. But it's actually not my favourite Dismember album. I like Massive Killing Capacity that came out a few years later with that incredible artwork. Massive Killing Capacity. It looks like a big battle mech on the front where it's got all weapons and chainsaws and all sorts of things on it. So yeah, that's my favourite Dismember album. And one of my favourite death metal albums of all time, actually, but this is an absolute classic as well. So they are Mega Jeff's Rock Hard Vinyl. That's the CD to go with the picture that you have behind you in your videos. So there we go. I know that was a little bit long, but you know, I love to talk about music. I love to share it. I love to let people know all the good stuff that's out there. There was just so much good stuff. It's just endless. It really is. It doesn't matter how far down the rabbit hole you go, there's always something further down the rabbit hole. So, and please, the channels that I gave a shout out to at the start of the video, please, if you can, go and check them out. They're all, you know, people that put some good time and effort into their videos and always have good content, and they're really top people. So check them out, have a bit of a view, and yeah, and look, I hope you enjoyed the video and you've seen a couple of bands or so that you didn't know of, and maybe there's something you already did but it jogged your memory. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all very soon.